All right, today we're going to build something incredibly practical. We're talking about a real-world server automation tool, and we're going to do it using nothing but simple bash scripts. You know, that powerful command language that's probably already on every Linux server you touch. By the end of this, you'll see exactly how to build a fully automated server manager from scratch that'll save you a ton of time and, more importantly, prevent a lot of headaches.
So let me ask you something. Does your server ever feel like a ticking time bomb? Just waiting for that one perfect moment to cause a problem, probably in the middle of the night? If it does, you are definitely not alone. Managing a server can bring this constant low-level anxiety that's just always there.
And these are the things that cause it, right? I'm talking about those daily headaches. You get that dreaded disk space low warning out of nowhere. Or you wake up, grab your coffee, and find out your web server has been down for hours. Then there's that nagging voice in the back of your head. Did I actually remember to run the backup? It all means you have to manually log in, check stats, and dig through a mess of log files. It's just a total grind.
We can call this the server's daily grind. And look, it isn't just that these manual tasks are boring and take up your time. The real problem is that they're risky. Humans forget things. We make mistakes. And when your critical systems depend on someone remembering to do a manual check, well, that's just a recipe for disaster. So what's the solution? Well, the solution we're going to build is actually pretty elegant. It's a smart, automated suite of scripts that becomes our very own 24/7 server manager. The best part? It never sleeps, it never forgets, and it does all that boring work for us perfectly every single time. Okay, but before we just jump in and start writing code, any good builder looks at the blueprint first, right? We need to get the lay of the land, see the whole structure of our project, so we know how all the different pieces are going to fit together.
And here it is, our blueprint. And you can see right away it's clean and it's organized. We've got a main folder, Server Manager. Inside, there's our master script, the one that's going to run everything. Then we have a scripts folder, which is like our toolbox for all the specialized tools. And finally, a logs folder, so we have a record of every single thing our automation does. It's simple, but it's incredibly effective.
All right, with the plan in place, it's time to start building our toolkit. We're going to create each of these scripts one by one. Think of them like individual, specialized tools, each one designed to do one specific job really, really well.
First up, tool number 1, the disk cleaner. This script has one job, and one job only, to be the guardian of our server's storage. Its whole purpose is to make sure we never ever get surprised by a disk full error again. You know, the logic behind this script is so simple it's beautiful. All it does is ask one basic question. Is the disk more than, say, 80% full? If the answer is yes, it gets to work and starts deleting old files to free up space. If the answer is no, it just makes a note that everything's okay and goes back to sleep. This simple if-then thinking, that's the absolute heart of good automation. Now, this line of code might look a little cryptic at first glance, but it's insanely powerful. Let's break it down real quick. Find is just what it sounds like. It searches for files. The -m time plus 30 part tells it to only find files that were modified more than 30 days ago. And that last part, -x, rm-f, square brackets argument, specifically any squared files, and circle brackets, is the action. It says, for every single file you find, execute the remove command on it. It's like a surgical tool for cleaning house. Next up, and you could argue this is the most important tool in our entire kit, the backup creator. This thing is our safety net, because when things inevitably go wrong, a good, recent backup is what saves your bacon. The logic here is just beautifully straightforward. It's a simple, step-by-step checklist. First, it makes sure a backup folder actually exists. Then, it compresses all of our important data. And here's the crucial part. It names the backup file with the current date. That makes finding a specific day's backup an absolute breeze. Finally, it logs the result, so we always have proof that it ran successfully. And this is the command that does all the heavy lifting. tar is a classic tool for archiving files. Those letters that come after it, they're called flags, and they're just instructions. C means create an archive. Z tells it to compress it using gzip. And F means we're going to specify a file name. So CZF just means create a compressed file. See? Not so scary when you break it down. And for our third and final tool, we have the system monitor. You should think of this script as your server's personal doctor. It's constantly checking its vital signs, looking for any problems before they can turn into full-blown catastrophes.
So what kind of vitals is it checking? Well, it keeps an eye on the big three resources: disk usage, CPU usage, and memory usage. It'll let us know if any of them cross a dangerous threshold. But it does something else that's incredibly important. It also checks to make sure our critical services, like our web server or our SSH access, are actually up and running. And this right here is where the real power of our monitor script shines through. It doesn't just tell you there's a problem, it fixes it. This command checks if a service is active. That little exclamation point means if not active, then it immediately runs the command to restart the service. This is proactive automation at its absolute best. Okay, so we've built our specialized tools. We've got a cleaner, a backup creator, and a monitor. Now we need someone to direct them all, right? That's the job of our master script. It acts like the conductor of an orchestra, making sure every tool plays its part at the right time.
And the master script itself? It's incredibly simple. It's really just a checklist. It starts by logging that the whole process is beginning. Then it runs the disk cleanup script. After that, it runs the backup script. Then the monitor script. And finally, it logs that the entire run is complete. It ensures everything happens in a logical, predictable, and reliable order.
So we've built this amazing machine. But right now, we still have to be the one to press the start button. So let's get to the final and, honestly, the most satisfying part: flipping the switch to make this whole system run completely 100% on its own. First, a really quick but absolutely essential step. In Linux, ext files can't just be run as programs by default. We have to explicitly tell the operating system, hey, this isn't just a text file, it's a script that you can execute. And the command chmod + x does exactly that. It adds the execute permission. And now for the magic ingredient that ties it all together: Cron. So what is Cron? It's the server's own built-in scheduler. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a super powerful, super precise alarm clock. But instead of playing a song to wake you up, it wakes up your scripts and tells them it's time to run. And this is what one of those alarm clock settings looks like. Let's just translate this from geek speak into plain English. The 0 means at minute 0. The 2 means at hour 2. The 3 stars mean on every day of every month of every week. And the last part is just the command to run. So what this one line tells our server is this: every single day at 2 a.m., without fail, run our entire automation suite. And just like that, with that one single line, look at the superpowers we've just given our server. It now backs itself up every day. It cleans up after itself when it gets too full. It monitors its own health. It can even fix itself by restarting critical services if they fail. And everything it does is recorded in one clean log file. It's completely hands-off automation. So we'll leave you with this final thought. By automating all of these tedious, repetitive, and frankly anxiety-inducing tasks, you've freed up your own time and your own mental energy. Now that your server is taking care of itself, the only question left is, what are you going to build next?